Alpha 4.8 new features and content. They actually go through and start answering some questions. Doesn't this look kind of like a miniature, like a figurine version of the actual thing? Like a little model rock with a pipe sticking out of it. What is Ship Hangar Services T0? This is actually a pretty cool part of this patch. This is the initial version of the feature that enables ships with dedicated service bays to repair, refuel, and restock ammo, missiles, and countermeasures of any ship or vehicle that fits within its bays. All services require resources that must be on the host ship's cargo grid. Refueling consumes hydrogen fuel and quantum fuel, repair consumes RMC, and rearming consumes ammunition and missiles. In practical terms, this delivers the base functionality with no cooldown between servicing operations. Ships can cycle in and out continuously. Monitoring capabilities, permissions management, and pricing controls are planned for future iterations. Permissions management's huge. So the ships supported here are the Polaris 890 Jump, the 600I, the Carrack, the Starlancer Attack, and the Ironclad Assault. Actually, the Starlancer Attack is also a nice spot. That changes that ship for me. It really changes all the ships with hangars for me. This is a great update to the game. What's different about ship hangar services? We know that. Only need refuel and repair. We know that. How quickly can ship hangar services turn a ship around? Quickly. How many ships can be serviced at once? Oh, that's a good one. There's currently no limit. Okay. For crews who want to lean into the support role, what does running ship hangar services look like in practice? For Tier 0, the role of managing a ship's services requires understanding the fleet it supports to ensure it's carrying the correct stock in appropriate quantities. For example, while RMC and fuel are uniform across ships, ammo and missiles needs vary. After establishing the fleet's needs, the role involves purchasing, loading, monitoring, and maintaining stock. We're going to have to actually craft a lot of missiles and ammunition, huh? That's going to be... You're just going to have to be doing a lot of stocking of missiles for this kind of stuff. Should be interesting. Logistics for the win. How do you see payment and compensation systems developing within ship hangar services? They say, as there is currently no interface for the host ship to set prices, we made the decision to make services free, allowing players to use the feature to support their orgs. As the feature matures, we plan to introduce a dedicated service terminal to give host ship operators full control over pricing and permissions. All right, the vision beyond Tier 0. The full feature will aim to include... So this is... probably what we should think of going forward when it comes to working on ships inside of ships, even despite what they've said before. A service terminal is going to be added to any ship with a service hangar, allowing for management of permissions depending on the user's relationship within the social app. So we'll be able to do permission management in the social app, approval of requests from unapproved users, management of resource pricing depending on the user's relationship within the social app. So you can set, so you could set org specific pricing. Maybe you could set a shit list. Monitoring of resource inventory on grids. Okay, that makes sense. I always wanted to have like a graphical manifest of your cargo grid would be awesome. They actually used to have a concept image like that. It was cool to look at. Locking of amounts of resources from use in services. Makes sense. Players will be able to select the amount of ballistics and missiles they want to rearmed, and wait time per unit of resource is okay. So there will be a wait time. Makes sense. It's interesting that they're not bringing up like doing this yourself manually. I assume that's still going to be part of it, but it's also like I just said we should not assume anything that's not in here. But what about manual fueling and stuff? Command module. What is the command module? Is a detachable ship that serves as both the pilot station for the attached craft and an escape vehicle for the craft's crew. When it's detached, it can be connected to the host ship. Its own systems are disabled, and control of the host's function is assumed by the module. A lot of people are not happy that you can't fly this Ironclad from up here. You only fly it from here, and I kind of understand that. What else about the command module is interesting here? Does it have a docking call? Yeah. Can it? No. The only ship it can currently connect to are the Caterpillar and Ironclads. I see. So that it's not a universal purpose docking collar. Oh, it's just a doorway. That sucks. For an escape pod, I would have assumed they had a real docking collar on it too. If someone detects my command module, can they trace it back to the main hull? This is not something we currently support, but we want to look into in the future. I thought they were done with answers like that. If it's docked and someone boards the ship, can they detach and steal it? Yes. All right, refueling. This is actually a pretty big one, and it didn't get any mention, any focus whatsoever in that trailer. What improvements and updates have the team made to the refueling mechanics in Alpha 4.8? So in 4.8, the fuel nozzles no longer take damage and flow speeds are adjustable through item customization. Fuel pods remain closed by default and must be opened manually, then automatically closed once the refueling process is complete. The refueling process is now automated. As long as a fuel pod of the appropriate fuel is opened, the process will start and end automatically once the receiving player confirms their purchase. The base flow speed is now defined by the nozzle, while the different fuel pods add a modifier to it. This has got to be the most direct change from something that was maybe not necessarily skill focused, but at least affected by your know-how and your knowledge. Basically changing directly over to effects of crafting. Like, this is for the folks, for the crowd of people who are like, they're shoving crafting into everything. They're making everything based around crafting. This is definitely the most obvious sign of that. Because refueling used to have some level of, you needed to set the flow rate to make sure you were doing things right. You could make it too fast and you could blow the nozzle and just like cause problems for yourself, which I love. I love that. I think it would have actually been really cool for that to have been a case for each nozzle. Every nozzle has different green zones that they operate the best in. But now you don't get to change the flow rate. That's been taken out of the player hands. So this is kind of a loss of player autonomy, even if they are putting it in the hands of, you know, your equipment choice. I do like that, but I like a combination of the two. And I think, I don't know, I guess you might need to sacrifice some things, simplify it a little bit to make it make more sense and be balanceable. But I hope that some level of variability does come back to refueling here. Docking has also been updated. It can now be sent by both the fuel giver and the fuel receiver. When docking is accepted and the ships get close enough to each other, auto docking is always initiated. Here the receiver will dock onto the fuel giver. Again, auto docking being initiated is okay, but that's a quality of life thing. I think there should be a choice. I think some people enjoy the challenge of docking with another ship. It's just part of the monotony that some people get out of playing a game, and this is the game that provides that. I hope that they'll give people still the opportunity to do this stuff manually. What types of refueling contracts can players expect at launch, and are there any prerequisites for accessing them? It said there will be an introductory contract where a new faction offers a player their first refueling job. This is immediately available with no reputation requirements. Generally, refueling will involve supporting NPC ships. However, depending on the star system, there is a chance of piracy. Oh, depending on the star system. I hope they're simplifying that explanation. Some of the higher ranking contracts might require players to ensure they have protection. Can players take on multiple refueling contracts simultaneously? Yeah, imagine so. Can refueling contracts be tackled as a group? Yes. How does payment work for refueling contracts? All goes into escrow. Refueling beacons. Currently, the process of a refueling beacon is that when a player activates a refueling beacon, an NPC ship will arrive, quote a price, and provide fuel once accepted. To trigger a beacon, you must be in the pilot seat and have no active crime stat. Note that if you are in an active combat when the NPC ship arrives, it will leave without initiating the refueling process. Player-to-player beacons will be available in the future. Right, Maverick, when we tried this, you could you accept my beacon? The NPCs took it before you could take it, but you did see the beacon pop up? Okay, that's interesting. Well, I wonder if they were trying to get them working in PTU and couldn't, so they just removed them for live and they're saying this now. Player-to-player beacons not being a thing does suck, but I mean, it makes sense. It's par for the course. I was surprised at the possibility that they would be in. What does a career in refueling look like for players who want to specialize? An organized fleet gameplay continues to develop. As it continues, we anticipate scenarios in which multiple ships need refueling simultaneously, including massive capital ships that require significant fuel reserves. Refueling specialization will become increasingly valuable as fleet operations expands and pilots look to stay in the fight longer without returning to a station. Refueling contracts will offer a variety of ships to service. alongside new equipment to outfit your own, giving you more ways to approach the role. And finally, when player-to-player beacons come online, you'll be able to respond directly to urgent refueling requests from stranded pilots, becoming a true lifeline across the verse. Thank God they mentioned that. I thought they were just about to talk about fleet stuff. The Novian crossbow fills a niche no other FPS weapon in the verse currently occupies. It's quiet, it's not quiet. It's so loud. Hits incredibly loud, incredibly hard, and is surprisingly lightweight for the damage it delivers. The sway profile is best in class, meaning you can bring it up fast and land shots on targets who think they have the drop on you. It rewards skill and precision in a way that feels totally unique. Maybe it'll matter someday when stealth matters, but for now I don't find that it does very much. They say multiple variants of the crossbow can be unlocked for crafting via blueprints available through tactical strike groups or found through various loot pools. What does this mean? Does this mean that they're putting blueprints on data pads or something? Found through various loot pools across the verse. Has anybody heard anything like that before in this patch? I've not heard the idea of finding blueprints in loot pools. No, do they mean the weapon? They mean the crossbow can be found in various loot pools. I see. I'm just messing up the sentence structure. I thought they were saying blueprints available through various loot pools, but they're saying crossbow available through various loot pools. Shame. For players who took part in the Shroud of the Avatar promotion, how do you claim the crossbow? You just gotta go to Spectrum. This link here. I want to see if there's anything else that's specific here. Headshots, beyond raw damage. What advantage does this offer? They say it's exceptionally quiet. Again, I don't think so. Making it significantly harder for enemies to pinpoint where shots are coming from. It affects NPC audio perception in a similar way to a suppressor, giving you a tactical edge in stealth engagements that no other FPS weapon currently offers. On top of that, it has best-in-class sway profile. Bolts shatter on impact, so each shot is single use. That really sucks. Keep an eye on what else we might have available in the future besides default bolts. I do hope they do something that's retrievable, but I'm guessing they couldn't yet, for data reasons. Then we got the plasma grenade is also a thing. This is the area of denial grenade. It's a pretty cool thing, but I don't think it's going to be all that used, to be honest. Grenades that already aren't that used. This is another version of that. Someday they might get there. But those are some of the new features of 4.8.